Hey, y'all doing? This is Rob Burnham here, Preacher Man R&B, and this is an episode of Retro Land Comics. It's time to do another episode of movie reviews. It's time reviewing Underworld, The Rise of the Lycans. And what happens in this movie is we see how the backstory of the Lycans and the Vampire War and what starts. And what happens is Victor is about to kill Lucien when he's a baby because Lucien is the first Lycan that was born a human. Because all the other Lycans are turned from the bloodline of William, the brother of one of the elders, other than Victor. One of the elders we find out in the third movie, I think, is he has a brother that is a werewolf that can never change back into human. And the vampires are fighting this version of the Lycans. And what happens is like I said, Lucian's the first one that's born as a human, but he can shift back and forth. So he's the first Lycan that's able to shift forms. So Victor treats Lucian as a pet, sort of. He's still a slave, but he's his favorite slave, pretty much. And Victor treats him as such. Lucian gets more privileges than the other Lycan slaves. And what happens is Lucian and Sonia, Victor's daughter, wind up falling in love throughout this movie. And you see their love story and how they got to keep it secret because Victor will wind up punishing Lucian and possibly killing his daughter. And we find this out toward the end of the movie. But what happens is Victor does wind up finding out, and he has a trial for his daughter, and the elders vote if she lives or not, because what she did is punishable by death, and what she did is her and Lucian wound up. She's pregnant when all this happens, so they sentence her to death and force Lucian to see her burn to death, pretty much. And after this, Lucian calls on all the Lycans that were outside of Victor's castle and the ones that he helped escape, because before this, Lucian helped some of the Lycans escape with him, and they all come to Lucian's aid. And the first battle of the Lycan Vampire War happens, and Victor and Lucian have their final fight at the end of this movie. Victor winds up getting injured by Lucian, and then he goes into his long sleep, his hibernation sleep, and another elder is come take his place. But other than that, that's all that really happened. It just shows the beginning of the Lycan Vampire War, and then at the end of the movie, it shows Selene, and we'll find out more about her in the next movies. But other than that, that's all that really happened. My question for y'all is, now that the Lycan Vampire War has started, what's going to happen with that? As always, Rob Burnham, here, Preacher Man R&B, signing out. Guys, you also spend an episode of Retro Comics.